30 days. The same hour. The same posture before God. What happened next changed everything I believed about prayer. This is one of those stories. And I want you to hear it slowly, carefully, the way you would hold something fragile and precious in both hands. It started as a simple challenge. Could I pray at the exact same time every single day, for an entire month? I had no idea what God was about to do. Day 1. 6 in the morning. I sat down, opened my hands, and whispered, "Lord, I am here." I don't know what to say. Just, I am here. The silence that followed was not empty. It was full of something I had never noticed before. Something that had always been waiting. Day 3. I almost skipped. I was tired, the alarm went off and I thought, God will understand. But something pulled me out of bed anyway. When I knelt down that morning, I felt something loosen in my chest. Like a fist that had been clenched for years, finally letting go. By day 5, I noticed I was arriving to prayer with a list. Requests, worries, plans. God gently reminded me, I didn't come to present a report. I came to be with Him. Psalm 46 verse 10 became my anchor, "Be still and know that I am God." I wrote it on a card and taped it to the wall where I prayed. Day 7. 1 week in. I looked back and realized, I had been consistent for the first time in years. Not perfect. But present. And presence was enough. Something about praying at the same time each day told my body, my soul, and my spirit, this is sacred ground. This hour belongs to God. Day 9. I started hearing things. Not audible voices, but thoughts that weren't mine. Gentle redirections. Sudden peace where there had been panic. I had been carrying anxiety about a decision for months. On day 10, mid-prayer, clarity came. Not thunder. Not lightning. Just a knowing. James 1 verse 5 says that if anyone lacks wisdom, let them ask God who gives generously. I had forgotten that asking was allowed. That I could simply ask. Day 12. I received an unexpected phone call. Someone I had prayed for on day 3 was reaching out, asking about faith, about God, about hope. I hadn't told anyone I was doing this. But God was moving behind the scenes, rearranging things I couldn't see, connecting dots I didn't know existed. Day 14. 2 weeks. The halfway point. I realized I wasn't just building a habit. I was building a relationship. And relationships change you. I began to notice that the hour after prayer was different from every other hour in my day. Calmer. Sharper. More filled with love for the people around me. On day 16, I confessed something I had never said aloud. An old wound. A shame I had carried silently for years. I whispered it to God, and He didn't flinch. 1 John 1 verse 9 promises that if we confess our sins, He is faithful and just to forgive us. I had read that verse 100 times. On day 16, I believed it. Day 18. I noticed I had stopped praying only about myself. My prayers had expanded, to my family, my city, strangers I had seen in the street. Something happens to your heart when you pray for others. You begin to see them the way God sees them, broken and beloved at the same time. Day 20. I hit a wall. The prayers felt dry. The words felt hollow. I sat in silence and felt nothing. I stayed anyway. That dry day was, I believe, one of the most important days of the 30. Because I showed up not for a feeling, but for faith. Hebrews 11 verse 1. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. On day 20, I chose substance over sensation. Day 22. A miracle, small by some measures, enormous by mine. A door opened that had been closed for 2 years. I knew exactly why it opened. I had prayed about that door on day 4. I had almost forgotten. God had not forgotten. He never forgets what you bring to him in faith. Day 24. I started waking up before the alarm. My body knew. My spirit knew. The hour of prayer had become something my whole being anticipated. Matthew 6 verse 6, Go into your room, close the door, pray to your Father in secret, and your Father who sees in secret will reward you openly. I was watching that promise unfold. Day 26. I wrote down everything God had done in the past 26 days. The list was longer than I expected. Gratitude overwhelmed me. We forget so quickly. The answered prayers become background noise. That morning, I made a decision: I would not forget. I would keep the record. Day 27. My relationships had shifted. I was more patient with people who frustrated me. More generous with people who needed me. Prayer was changing who I was. Galatians 5 verse 22 lists the fruit of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness. I was growing fruit I had not planted. God was the gardener. Day 28. My family noticed something. They didn't know about the 30-day challenge. But they said, "You seem different lately. Lighter. More at peace." The light on the inside begins to show on the outside. You cannot spend 30 days with God and remain unchanged. It is simply not possible. Day 29. The eve of the final day. I didn't feel triumphant. I felt tender. Like someone who had been through something holy and was not quite ready for it to end. I thought about Jacob, who wrestled with God through the night and said, "I will not let you go unless you bless me." That was what these 30 days had been. Day 30. Final morning. I sat in the same spot, in the same posture, at the same time, and I simply said, "Thank you. For everything you did. For everything I didn't even see." And then something unexpected happened. God seemed to say, not with words, but with presence, "This doesn't have to end. This can be who you are." So what did God do in 30 days? He healed something in me that I had given up on healing. He answered a prayer I had prayed for 2 years. He sent a prodigal relationship back to me, restored, humbled, and new. He gave me clarity on decisions that had paralyzed me for months. He removed a fear that had lived in my body for so long I thought it was part of me. It was gone. Just gone. Replaced by something warm and steady. He gave me a word for my life, a verse that I had never noticed before, that became a compass for the next season. Jeremiah 29 verse 11. Plans to prosper you, not to harm you. He showed me who I was becoming. Not who I had been, but who I was becoming. And that vision was more beautiful than anything I had imagined for myself. He taught me that consistency is a form of love. That showing up, imperfect, tired, dry, sometimes barely awake, is what love looks like in the long run. He reminded me that I am not praying to move God. I am praying to be moved by God. The throne doesn't shake when I kneel. I do. Isaiah 40 verse 31, Those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. 30 days of waiting. 30 days of wings growing. If you have never prayed at a consistent time, let this be your invitation. Pick an hour. Guard it fiercely. Show up. And see what God does with a willing heart. You don't need the right words. You don't need a theology degree. You need a willing heart, an open hand, and the courage to be still long enough to hear. God is not waiting for you to be perfect. He is waiting for you to be present. There is a profound difference, and it changes everything about how you approach prayer. Luke 18 verse 1 says that man ought always to pray and not give up. Not give up. Not quit when it gets dry. Not quit when it gets hard. Not quit when heaven seems silent. Because the silence is not absence. The silence is often where God does his deepest work, in the places we can't see, in the chambers of our hearts we don't even know exist. Start tomorrow. Or start today. Start right now. Open your mouth or just your heart. Say his name. Say Lord. That's enough. That's always been enough. The God who made the stars knows your name. The God who holds the oceans hears a whisper. He is not far. He has never been far. Jeremiah 33 verse 3, Call to me and I will answer you, and show you great and mighty things which you do not know. There are things he wants to show you. Things your eyes haven't seen and your mind hasn't imagined. Things prepared for those who love him and stay close to him and keep coming back. This is an invitation, not to a 30-day program, but to a lifetime of walking with the God who walks with you. Who ran toward you before you ever turned around? He ran. Like the father in the parable. Arms open. No conditions. No lecture. Just, welcome home. I've been watching for you. I never stopped watching for you. If you are watching this and you have never prayed, or if you stopped praying and forgot the way back, today is the day. This moment is the door. Walk through it. And if you already pray, pray more consistently. Guard the hour. Fight for the silence. Choose the altar over the algorithm. Choose his presence over every distraction. 30 days can change your life. But one honest moment with God can change your eternity. Don't wait for the perfect moment. This, right now, is the perfect moment.